Greetings again, everybody. Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. So, last time, after we defeated the last giant, we got the Soldier's Key. So we can now open quite a few of the locked doors in this area. So let's do just that. We're gonna explore all the optional parts of the Forest of Fallen Giants. Except for one bit. Right down there, that fiery bit. Yeah, we're gonna save that for much later. We could technically drop down there by now if we had the Silver Cat's Ring and drop down just at the right spot, but right now I think it's not really worth it. We're gonna do that later. So this first locked door will get us a rather nice ring right there on that chest. Definitely be careful not to destroy that chest, because it contains the Ring of Restoration, which, if we equip it, will slowly but steadily regenerate our health all the time. Now, of course, it's not that noticeable of an effect, but it can make a difference in some battles. So if you find yourself dying a lot, or run out of healing items a lot, this might be just the ring for you. And yeah, we can't really open that big door yet. But, you guessed it, in the future we will find a way to get through there too. Now right out there is the part that we ignored in the last video. So now, since we're wrapping things up anyway, I think we should just go there. There's no obvious way into that part of the map, so yeah, our best pick is just to, drop down. And I could have stayed up there and gone through the area a little faster. Normally I would do this, but since I want to show you the whole area, I'm just gonna go down here. Unless you want the torch, by the way, there's absolutely no reason to actually get to this particular part here. And the enemies that we can actually reach aren't a problem here. The problem are the archers. You might have noticed that we are constantly under fire by, various of those archers. So it's important to be on the move at all times to avoid getting hit. Knowing where the archers are also helps a lot. For instance, to our right there's two. Up ahead there's one that can reach us now, and another one a little bit behind. You can see him now. But again, moving around a lot really helps, because it makes it a lot harder for them to hit you. Now that was kind of a bad example of the whole not getting hit thing, but we should be fine now. The only reason to actually come here is for that one item here. It's just a Titanite shard though. And yeah, we will be getting to the other side of that gate later in this video. For now though, I think we should actually go to the most important part of this area here. And that guy up ahead is an asshole. We need to jump over there. But if he hits us in mid-air, well, we will just plummet to our death. So it's best to bait at least one of his shots, or, kill him with a ranged weapon. If you do either of those things though, we're fine. And yeah, just wait for a second here. Yeah. If you rush in there, that boulder will kill you. And that part down there is just to have a convenient spot for the boulder to vanish into a black hole. So don't worry too much about it. But up here is what we actually came for. That guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just daydreaming, I think. My name is Kale. I'm a traveler like yourself. I'm navigating the continent to create a map. Why cartography, you ask? Well, that's a good question. When I first came to this forsaken land, it was... a curse? Something about a curse? How embarrassing. I seem to have lost my focus. But I do know one thing for certain. I have always been very fond of maps. I came to this land some time ago, Drangleic, the Lost Kingdom. It sounded so romantic. Have you seen Majula? Oh, there's a rather spacious mansion there. I've made it my temporary home, well, as something of a squatter, I'm afraid. Inside the mansion, I found a strange map, like none I'd ever seen. I believe that it's a map of Drangleic. Now I'm traveling the land to prove it. Yes, that's it. That's why I came to the kingdom. Wait. No, that wasn't it. Then what? I don't seem to recall. Were you looking for that map? Wonderful. Then you're fascinated by maps, just like me. Shame on you. You should have told me before. Here, take this. A key to the mansion. What a joy to meet a kindred spirit out here. Incredible, really, isn't it? Such a map to be chiseled in stone. Oh, but one thing. I would not venture deep into the mansion. Now, I can't be certain, but I've heard disturbing noises. Something about it feels wrong. Just be careful, please. I'll be back in Majula soon. Perhaps we will meet again and discuss maps at our leisure.
Alright, that guy is clearly confused. He even gave us the key to his house, and we'll be checking that out in a bit. But yeah, Cale not really knowing who he is or why he's here is a recurring theme. Not with Cale, but with the NPCs in the game in general. Hell, even with us, if you remember the first video. So yeah, before we actually go check out Cale's place though, let's open up Lenondrast's hut.
Ah yes, very good. Now I can get to work. But first, let me set up. Come again later.
When he says come again later, he just means rest at the bonfire for like 3 seconds and then come back. Because that's all it takes for him to actually set up shop and be ready to actually do stuff for us.
You, stand back. This is dangerous work. The name's Lenigrast. Just a simple blacksmith. And you are... another useless traveler. A man ought to labor with his feet planted firmly in the earth. Not roam around like you flirtatious vagabonds. Oh, what does it matter? Go on, show me what you've got. Your equipment. Let me have a look. But do it quick.
So the upgrade system this time around has been streamlined a little bit. Rather than using various different upgrade materials to upgrade our weapons up different paths, this time around it's pretty simple. We just upgrade our weapons from +0 to +10, and we can also infuse our weapons later to give it special properties, but more on that when we get to that. For now, we're just gonna upgrade our mace as far as possible, which is actually +4. Well, now we need large titanite shards. Thankfully, we have one. Every 3 levels we need a higher tier of upgrade material, and this time around it's also useful to upgrade catalysts.
Drat. You're worse than my reckless daughter. Don't spend your whole life in transit, you hear? You'll need souls to repair and improve equipment. I know only of smithing, but souls have many other uses as well. Don't waste your souls on useless trinkets. Think before you spend. Equipment can be strengthened with rare ore stone, but such ore stone won't come easily. My girl knows her stones, but she's always out prancing about. Now, there's a time for travels, but you can't wander the world forever. Even you must have someone waiting back home. Drat. You're what? I'll be around if you make it back.
Alright, now let's actually go to Kale's house and break into it. Well, he did give us the key, but let's be honest, it's not even his house. He just, well, squatted there by his own admission. It is here, we have the key, and let us go inside. There's quite a few goodies in here. Firstly, I want to draw your attention to that white book right there. It's an actual real-life book called Le Désir de Vivre. I probably butchered the pronunciation here. It's on screen anyway. The English title would be The Desire to Live. And it's actually also found in different spots in this game, and I think even in the first Dark Souls, but I'm not too sure because I never found it there. At least it didn't catch my attention. I'm not entirely sure what's up with that book, but the title's kind of fitting. Anyway, let's go to the basement first. This shape on the floor is Drangleic map. Well, it's what Kale was referring to as a map, and it has the shape of Drangleic. I'll be posting pictures in the thread though, so don't worry. No, let's actually go further down. There's always a lot of bloodstains here, which means that people have died here, other players that is. But all that is down here is a skeleton. For each New Game Plus there's one more skeleton, up to 8, but really there shouldn't be that many bloodstains. This either means that people suck or I'm really good. But I kinda doubt that. Well, at the very least, I'm not an MLG Dark Souls player. I'm just competent. Anyway, Estus Flask Shot, really nice. And that chest also has something really nice. A Soul Vessel. If we bring that back to the Firekeeper in Things Betwixt, we can respec our character. This is really nice if for some reason you feel like you fucked up, or you just want to try something new. You can redistribute your stats that way. It's really easy and nice that they included it. Normally Kale would appear right here after defeating the skeleton, but in our case we'll have to rest at the bonfire first.
Oh, hello again. You've made it. The map, I presume. Of course. Take a good look. Even more flames have appeared. I don't know what causes it. Did you see the flame on the map? It wasn't there when I came here before. I don't know what explains it. But there is something greatly comforting about that flame. It seems to fulfill something very precious, deep within the soul. Something essential. I would not venture far into that hole. It was blocked by a wall, something built long ago. But it was crumbling, and I finished the job. Now a foul sound echoes within.
Those flames Kyle was mentioning and we could only see one of, they are triggered by defeating bosses. In this case, that flame was for the last giant. Not every boss will trigger a flame though. Anyway, let's explore the upper level. In this chest, I always like to open it. I could have just saved myself some souls and not buy 3 Titanite shards, but I did. Now I have 3 more, I can use them for my talisman. Talisman. Of course I mean Sacred Chime. It was called the Talisman in the first game. So yeah, now that we did that, it's time for New Game Plus. we are using the Murakumo here. It is a curved greatsword. And that door to our right here, well, normally would be closed, but I've been here before. I forgot to record, and as a result I had to use a bonfire ascetic. Now, bonfire ascetics essentially elevate our game to the next level of New Game Plus, so this is now a New Game Plus 4 rather than New Game Plus 3. But that way you can also respawn enemies that only spawn once, and all the other enemies you've despawned, because, yeah, I didn't mention it yet, but enemies have limited spawns. I'm not entirely sure on the numbers, but mostly it's somewhere around 15. But different enemies have different amounts of spawns that they have, so there's that, yeah. But yeah, I could have gone through this area with a torch because it's fairly dark, but you should be able to make out anything that's in the distance. So yeah, the Murakumo we're using here, you will see it has rather fast swings, but they have a little bit of a delay, or rather a weird wind-up before the swing occurs. So watch out for that. Other than that, I like curved greatswords much more than I liked them in the first game, and I definitely like them more than twin blades, those damn twin blades. You will find a lot of those old ironclads in this area, by the way. So if you want to grind for their gear, this is probably the best spot to do it. You can basically cosplay as a Ninja Turtle if you do it right that way. But yeah, due to it being possible to despawn enemies, grinding for gear can sometimes be kind of, well, difficult. Because you might despawn an enemy before you have everything you want. In that case, you will either have to use another bonfire ascetic, which you will have to burn at the right bonfire to make the enemy spawn again. Because using a bonfire ascetic, of course, doesn't elevate the whole game to the next level of New Game Plus. Just the area of the bonfire you used it on. And in addition, if you want to grind for items, it's a really damn good idea to use various tricks to boost your item discovery. Like rusted coins, they're consumables and they boost your chance to get rare items. You can also use the Traveler's Hat, which you can buy from Melentia, and there's other items that boost your item discovery as well, so be on the lookout for that. Always check the item descriptions. If they have a special effect, it's always listed in there. Generally, in this particular area, it's a good idea to take these old ironclads out as safely as possible, which means ideally from a range. Because out there, you can drop. And that guy, fight him in there obviously, because otherwise you might just accidentally dodge into a bottomless pit. And I don't have to tell you why that's a bad idea, right? But yeah, since those aren't very hard, this is about the only way that they can kill you. Unless you don't know what's coming. But since you had fought quite a few of them by this point, you really should. But if you have trouble regardless at this point, there's no shame in just coming back here later. Or never, because it's entirely optional, of course. It's not like there's anything essential here anyway. Unless of course you like great swords. In that case, you'll definitely pick up this baby here. The Bastard Sword is, well, the first great sword you can find. And it's also the best, of course, until you can find the Claymore, which both has a higher attack power rating, as well as, in my opinion, the better moveset. But yeah, let's climb up there. This is for people who like challenges, apparently, because there's two old ironclads here. And one of them doesn't seem to attack us, that's weird. Normally, both of them will come at us right away. And normally, at least it's very unlikely that one of them will drop down. This makes things remarkably easy. Because now we can just take care of that one guy who dropped down below there and maybe even plunge attack him. There, that did some damage. I'm sad to say that in this game you get way less opportunity to use plunge attacks than the first game. I could also swear that plunge attacks are far less effective this time around. So yeah, they're kind of nerfed hard, which I think is really sad because I don't think they were overpowered in the first place. Alright, we killed that last old ironclad here, so let us just go ahead and climb back up. I mean, those two guys must have protected something really great, right? Well, not really. And I'm not even picking it up. It's to our right here, but I just walked past it because I don't see it. It's a soul of a nameless soldier and 3 cracked red-eye orbs. Not really worth it if you ask me. This one is a much better drop because it allows us to replenish spell uses as well as get some faster stamina regen temporarily. So yeah, enchanting weapon because I know that there is a red phantom enemy coming right up. And you know by now that all red phantom enemies get extra are HP and attack power, so it's exactly the same as a regular old ironclad fight. Only it takes much longer and there's less margin for error. Luckily, you don't have to see it all. I had to sit through that. It can take quite a while and it's a little tedious if you ask me. And that chest here is the Hunter starting gear. Or at least it was the Hunter in Dark Souls. We got a head extra too. It's Varus's head. It's nice. Yeah, listen to that sound. That's because another red phantom spawned. This time around it's a special one-time spawn only deal though. And to those who played the first game, this guy might seem familiar to you. We can't actually go up there, so we should actually go down to make him drop. That's right, it's a Katarina Phantom wearing the Katarina armor. In Dark Souls, there were 2 characters who were wearing that. They were called Siegmeyer and Sieglinde. They were related. They were from the country or kingdom or whatever of Katarina. And this is what their armor looks like. It's pretty sweet. They're also sometimes called Onion Bros for reasons, because they look similar to onions. I mean, they got it. But yeah, best idea is to get in here to fight him there, so he can't accidentally drop into the bottomless pit. Because there is a chance that he will drop something. Sadly, Red Phantoms in this game don't have a 100% chance to drop their loot. Only one part of it, and only a rare chance. So this is kind of annoying if you want to grind for the gear. Because now you actually have to grind for it rather than getting all the cool stuff just like that. And it's not like armor has much more purpose than being aesthetically pleasing anyway. I mean sure, armor is more useful this time around, but I use it because it looks cool, and all I got was a crossbow. So that guy's kinda mysterious. We saw one of those tree thingies before, those giant trees. This one is special in that if you get invaded, there's a certain chance that we will find a seed of a tree of giants here. So if we get invaded again, we can use a seed of a tree of giants and the enemies of that area will also attack our invader. Alright, now there's only one more thing that we need to do. Well, we don't need to, it's all optional after all. But yeah, let's first see how well our upgraded mace does. Previously that guy took 2 hits and we didn't manage to kill him. Now, we killed him and got 2 Titanite shards. And that's rather nice too. So we're on our way to the last locked door that we can open with the soldier's key. We could have also opened that one door by the first bonfire, which we smashed 2 episodes ago. But, you know, smashing it is much better, allows us to get the items there earlier. The other soldier's key doors, though, sadly can't be opened that way. We actually need to use the key on them. And yes, door opening animation is really slow, but you can just dodge roll to accelerate the whole ordeal. Normally I would recommend drawing that one guy out before rushing in, because that they will always drop down. But if you can take them out reliably quickly, you should have no problem. And up here would be another Red Phantom Royal Soldier, but since we're not New Game Plus, he's not here. I know, look at this. Summon sign, ominous fog door. This usually is a good sign that there's a boss ahead. We're not gonna summon anyone though, because we can do it on our own. Ah yes, the Pursuer. We have met him before. On that big platform right before we opened up the shortcut with the explosive barrels to that bonfire. That one is a one-time chance. He will disappear after the first try and never come back. This is a proper boss fight though, which means to get past here, we have to beat him. And the easy way to get past him is to, you know, circle him to the right. That way he will almost never hit you. And if he does the dash attack, same thing, only dodge, right? Should be safe. The worst attack you can do is that blue sword. It will curse you, and he will also use dark magic after he's hit you with it for one time. It's not gonna happen here, but don't worry, at some point I will show that off. For now I just wanna focus on beating that guy. You may have noticed 2 ballistas in one end of the room. Yes, we can operate them, and yes, we can hit the Pursuer with it. And it will do really good damage, but it's really hard to pull off alone. You can parry him, you'll get a little time to do it, but it's mostly a way to kill people in co-op, by which I mean your teammates. You will most likely kill them, not the Pursuer, because that's what always happened to me. So my best tip for this fight is to just, you know, fight normally. Like this. For now, since we didn't have any time for that during the battle, let us enjoy this breathtaking view. It's one of the more beautiful vistas in the game, I think. But yeah, we don't actually have to come up here. It will grant us access to another area though, which we would normally enter from a different way. Right up here, those stairs, there's a bird's nest. In classic Dark Souls fashion, we can just, you know, have us carried somewhere by a bird, and we'll be in a different place. But this isn't the real reason I did this, because we won't go to that area, the Lost Bastille, for quite a while. Instead, I want to go down here, because there is something rather nice, the Drangleic set. The Drangleic shield is one of the first shields that has a 100% physical block. We won't be using it, at least not right now. But the armor, we'll be using that. It looks rather cool. Right now though, we're gonna have a look at what we can make from the Pursuer's soul. Soul of the Pursuer, who lurks in Drangleic. The Pursuer, who seeks the bearer of the sign, will not rest until his target is slain. Now this almost makes it seem like the Pursuer, originally at least, was supposed to be a character who would keep hassling the player, maybe getting increasingly more powerful, and eventually would have had to be fought in a final encounter near the end of the game. That would have been cool, right? Well, sadly that's not the case, instead he's a very early boss. One thing we can make of his soul is the Pursuer's Ultra Greatsword. Quoting the description, known as the mightiest of the straight swords, it demands great strength and dexterity of its wielder. The Pursuer hunts down those branded by the curse, as if each undead soul that he claims will atone one of his sins. As a weapon, I'm sad to say it's kind of underwhelming. It looks cool, but there's way better Ultra Greatsword type weapons in the game. The shield is functional, it works well as a shield. It is a great shield though, so it doesn't exactly allow you to parry. Instead you will do a shield attack. We've seen it, smash the shield into the ground where the enemy stands. It doesn't really do that much damage, its uses are limited. There's some special shields that specialize in dealing damage though. This isn't one of them, but you can use it as a shield if you like the way it looks. And the same is true for the sword actually. I said it's not that good, but whether or not it's useful to you largely depends on whether or not you can get used to the moveset it provides. Personally, I don't like the moveset, but if it just fits your playstyle, then go ahead, use that weapon and smash things with it. If you can use a weapon efficiently, you don't necessarily need the one of its type that does the most damage. So yeah, stick to what's fun, unless you wanna go MLG Pro, in that case just use cookie cutter stuff. But this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. See you next time.